In my last video, I talked about The Little Mermaid and wanted to continue talking about it after the box office came in and seeing some of the things that came up. And I thought it's only fair that I see the movie to at least have an opinion of some sort. So I have managed to see it, which means I'm going to give a brief review. And I recognize that giving a review comes with consequences.
I'm sorry, you're on a terrorist watch list?
Yes, that's right. Negative reviews are ratings terrorism. At least that's what some site in South Korea is calling it. Anyway, yeah. So let's break it down real brief. This movie is not for me, and I know we often hear that joke. Oh, this is not made for you. It's not made for you know men or white guys or whatever it is. But the fact that this movie is not made for me. It's not made for a middle-aged man to go see. It's made for a middle-aged man to maybe bring his little daughter to or something. Maybe his son, his kids. Maybe go see it. Otherwise, as me, I'm personally bored by it. Now, I did not see The Little Mermaid when it first came out. It came out late in 1989. I was 16 years old. I had a car. My buddies and I were not going to see The Little Mermaid. We were hitting arcades, going to movies we would like to see where, things blew up and stuff because that's what we did as dumb teenage guys. So we didn't see The Little Mermaid. So I can't go back and say, oh, yes, it's very nostalgic and everything. I did do enough research to know where the things are similar and where they're different. But just looking at this movie as a whole, it was very boring to me.
Boring, right? So boring.
I didn't recognize the lead actress at all, Halle Bailey. Um, I'm certain she's a lovely young woman. And looking at her resume, I had to go to Wikipedia to look it up. But I think it's look at her filmography. She is a singer. She has some Grammy nominations. I thought I saw. She has some Grammy nominations, which is good. So she's got some talent. But when I was looking at her filmography, most of the times it says she's playing herself, and I think that kind of shows on the screen. Again, she has a good voice. She's able to sing, but she comes across very flat and boring. I don't know that she really, as an actress, had the ability to carry the movie. For some of the other people we saw in here, again, looking at this cast, I don't know who Prince Eric is. John Hewer King. I don't know this guy. Don't know who he is. I know who Javier Bardem is. I know who uh, Melissa McCarthy is. Javier Bardem, he looked just bored. He looked bored. I thought Melissa McCarthy was the only one who had some sort of personality in the movie. But overall, it's just not much to it. It's lifeless. Um, the the effects and the art sometimes I found it off-putting. So, like I say, maybe I would take my child to go see this. But unless you're a Disney stan or something, you're not going to go see this. You're not going to spend your time or your money to go see this. And another thing is, this is a long run time. This movie is well over 2 hours. Now, then you factor in, you know, um, all the previews, which at least 20 to 30 minutes these days. Now you're going to be sitting in a theater with a kid for well over 2.5 hours. That's going to be a tough haul for a kid. The original movie was under 90 minutes, I think, and that it kept kids engaged. I don't know that a child's going to be as engaged, and I think overall that's going to lead to some problems down the road for this movie financially. But overall, in my opinion, this is one. I take this fish, I throw it back out to sea. I'm done with it. So at least I can say, you know what? I honestly looked at it. I watched it in a way. I avoided most of the music. I'm not even going to talk about Aquafina. Don't even need, no,
I'm the Asian Jeff Gordon.
no. I've seen it. I'm never going to see it again. I saw it the best way I could, which spared me pain. So now, what do I really want to talk about? Let's talk about what it's doing in the box office. The Little Mermaid splashes to a 164 million global bow, but there's something fishy overseas as Disney Pick is beset by review bombing. yeah, that goes back to what I was talking about before in that prior article. The ratings terrorism, I guess, is the classic stochastic terrorism that we're dealing with all today. Honestly, of all the ists that would be labeled for critics of this movie, I did not think it would be terrorist. I thought it would be racist, maybe a phobe in there somewhere. But that was not what I was expecting. Um, and here's the other thing about this: this movie is extremely diverse. If you look at the cast of this movie, as well as all the mermaids and everything, I mean, let me tell you right now, these mermaids. Let's see who we got here. So here's our family of mermaids. There they all are, all around Triton. Very diverse, very diverse, very diverse. A lot of diversity. You see what I'm saying? And then there's, of course, Javier Bardem looking bored. Can't say I blame him. I think a lot of people were. Even the end scene. The end of this movie, everyone on the beach saying goodbye. Look at the diversity here. So, Disney's ticking its boxes, hitting all the good things it needs to hit. But guess what? The left loves eating the left. Even this movie is being subject to criticism from the people they're trying to pander to. I mean, let's see what we got here. So here we go. This great article. Pennyworth star Paloma Faith. Pennyworth, of course, is the Batman spinoff everyone wanted about Alfred. Slams Little Mermaid. Not what I want to be teaching next gen women. So what does she say? As a mother of girls, I don't want my kids to think it's okay to give your entire voice and your powers to love a man. Faith shared in a now deleted Instagram post. I like this. Uh, WTF is this? Shit. Not what I want to be teaching next gen women at all. So there's another one. What's the other one that I like? This is another great one. Little Mermaid criticized by prominent diversity advocate for its dangerous erasure of slavery. Yes, this movie is supposed to take place in some fanciful Caribbean island where everyone is of mixed race, of every gender, whatever. But still, it's being slammed for not addressing slavery. Okay, we need to just take a break. Look, this is a fantasy world. This is not real world Caribbean island. It is a fictional place. It's Brigadoon. It's Narnia. It's whatever. It's not real. Do not expect to be introducing the subject of slavery to what is a child's movie. Are you freaking insane? I guess you are. But again, left has got a left. God. Okay. Here's what I really want to talk about. Let's talk about the money. This is interesting to me. Like I say, really getting fascinated by this stuff. So it came out and it did $138 million. Now we look at the other one that came out, another live action Disney to compare to. That would be Aladdin. What do we got here with Aladdin? Aladdin came out, and you can see Aladdin's chart here. But let's go to the week performance. The first week performance was $91 million. Okay. Little Mermaid actually is a little bit ahead of that at $95 million. But the key is this. International box office, $68 million. That's in the first week. Overall, what did Aladdin do? Aladdin's international box office is 610. So that's problematic because it's getting wrecked overseas. It's bottom line. It's getting wrecked overseas. And let's go to comparison of where they are. Let me get rid of Guardians because I don't think we need to compare that. We'll get to that later. If at all. Don't even need to. But this is what's interesting. They're tracking pretty close together. So let's presume The Little Mermaid does the same as Aladdin and tracks about the same here in the United States. So, the opening budget, production budget was $250 for Mermaid, $182. I've seen numbers putting well over $100 for marketing. So we're talking a total number of over $350 million. This movie, based just off production's got to be making 700. Is it going to do it? It may track well domestically, but the problem again is this international box office. This is not going to jump. It'd have to do this 10 times. 10 times every week. Aladdin, 690. This movie's in trouble. This fish is treading water in the United States and it is drowning overseas. So the bottom line is this movie is not going to do well. I know I was wrong before. I said I thought it would make over 100 million.
Well, you were wrong.
I was wrong. Fine. But I kind of feel, again, my lack of knowledge on this, but just my gut feeling is it's not going to do well overseas and it needs that overseas market to hit a number close to Aladdin. And it's going to need to get that type of number to even get close to what it needs to break even. Because remember, Aladdin was at 182 production. This is 250. There's a lot of money for this movie. They can't keep spending this type of money on these movies anymore and expect this return. The overseas market is not doing what it used to do for these movies. They're just going elsewhere. So, my opinion, at best, it breaks even. I could be wrong. That's fine, but it's just not looking good. The second week numbers are going to be a big indicator of how well it's going to do. Again, this week we're having Spider-Man Into the Milesverse appear on screens, so that's going to take a chunk as well. I, it's not going to have a hold like Guardians. I don't think it's going to have the word of mouth. There's a lot of bad feelings about this movie. People getting into fights in theaters. Yikes. Maybe I could see it maybe having somewhere in the 60 to 70%. Maybe. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I don't think it's going to do as well as Guardians second week. Not going to do good. Anyway, I guess this is the one that got away for Disney. Don't worry, they got Indiana Jones and the intersectional feminism coming up. Questions, comments, witticisms down below. Click like, click subscribe. I'll see y'all later.